Hello? Hello. Test. Oh, shoot. Um. So that's that. Also, let me know if you can hear what I'm saying right now, because ideally you should be able to. Hold on. I hope everyone is having a good time. And I hope all the somebody's messaging me. And I hope you could actually hear what I was playing. And I hope if you couldn't hear what I was playing that you feel bad for not saying anything because you missed it. I think people are probably going to be like coming in at varying rates. Maybe I should put something up that's like, send a message when you join so I know who's watching. But yeah, that's pretty much the patch I got going. I've been playing around with it for a couple days, and I finally found like a good mix of kind of something that I can play and sort of perform with, and something that's still very like alive and self-contained, but with some structure. Hi, I don't know who you are in the chat, but I also don't know if you heard any of what I was just playing, but I'm going to kind of give a walkthrough of this stuff going on in my patch. So if you're curious to hear an explanation of what I was just playing, then you're in luck, because I'm going to do that. Let me see. see. I may. Oh, hi. Okay, great. It's good to have you here. Um, I may maybe there's people in because I posted the link in my Discord. Um, so we'll see. I mean, can I shill this in? Um, let's see. I'll try posting about this in a synth gear Discord server that I'm in, and maybe they'll be interested. Um, let's see. I'm simply on the grind. I'm gonna say going live if anyone would like to watch. LOLOL. So it's casual, it's friendly, it's inviting, but it's not too informal. It's not too overbearing. You just gotta strike a balance there. Hey, watch if you want to see some cool music. Okay. Also, let me know if my mic is peaking at all. I really hope everyone can hear what I'm saying right now, because if not, that would be really embarrassing. I'm gonna adjust things a little bit so you can see like what's actually going on in the scene. Also, this text is covering up the Droid Cam app watermark, just because I don't even care about the watermark, but I don't like that it's upside down. My phone is like technically upside down right now, but the what's the word? The app cannot. I have to like pay for a premium version of the app to be able to rotate the footage from inside the app. So I'm just doing it through OBS, but that flips the watermark too. So I guess everybody let me know if there's something I need to fix, like if my mic is clipping or if the modular audio is too quiet or if it's too loud. I set it up so that like it it should compress the synth sounds whenever I'm speaking. So like right now you should not, well, obviously you can't because it's not making any sound. I'm gonna send this link to another person who may be interested. I'm cashing in all my friend favors to make them watch this, and I may stream again like later tonight or something, just because I like how this is going. Okay, let's see here. Right. Okay. So let's see. Let me also maybe rotate this ever so slightly. Okay, this is a very precarious situation that I have going on here, and it's all my fault. It's partially my dad's fault because he lets me use his pedals and stuff, and then they just go like everywhere. Okay, so this patch is built around the fact that if you have a mini jack cable, really any kind of cable with this sort of design, if you run it, well, so if you touch the end of it with your thumb, that creates a circuit and you generate some current. There's there's a voltage difference on either side of the cable, and so current starts flowing. It's very chaotic, erratic current. It's generally not super musically useful. But in this case, it was fun because I think what it's doing is amplifying is creating like a ground loop or a mains hum. I don't know enough about electronics to say with 100% confidence what this sound is, but I'm going to turn up the gain here on my filter, and so you can hear there's that kind of electronic interference sound. And every time I touch this with my finger, it gets much louder. It should be getting quieter when I'm talking though, because it's not. I don't want it to overpower my voice. So there. I hope that's working. Okay, so I heard that sound and I thought that was cool. Then I'm basically controlling the cutoff frequency on the filter right here. I'm not going to explain how a filter works, so I hope you know how that works. Basically, this filter is switching between two different modes, a low pass filter and a high pass filter, and every time it switches, there's a little like pop or like a click, just kind of a very short transient sound. And I'm going to start the clock on the sequencer. So you can hear there's a little click sound being created, and it's got a tone to it. So that tone is being produced by the resonance control on the filter. So if I turn the resonance down, there's not as much of a tone. If I turn the resonance up, now it's amplifying that one particular frequency right at the cutoff point. So then I've got it running from there into a delay, the Make Noise Mimeophone, everyone's favorite delay. And here's what it sounds like dry. So this is with no delay added. So just kind of a simple on, off. Not really even a rhythm. Sort of, yeah, it's a rhythm, but you know what I mean. So then, as we turn up the mix, and also notice that as I interact with different things, electrical interference is introduced into the sound. These cables are definitely not shielded. There's no protection against like bleeding and all kinds of electrical interference. So just by kind of mushing my hand into these cables, I can add more tones. And interestingly, this also happens with other electronic things. So like you can't see it right now, but I'm going to move my hand over my computer mouse and you'll hear a tone being created. So here it is. Right now I don't have it on the mouse. Now I do. So there's that. That particular band of frequencies is being injected into the sound by my computer mouse. So that's cool. A lot of this stuff, a lot of the audio gear I have here is like grounded, and if I touch it, it'll actually just cut out the interference. But like all these cables, it's especially interesting doing it with things that have like gate or trigger outputs being sent out through them. But let's see. Here is a bit of a ping sound. So we'll get to all that. That's just something cool about modular synths. You can do that. That's kind of hard to do with other kinds of synths. and it's sort of worked into the way that they connect to each other. You're always going to have some amount of interference. If you like the way that sounds, you can make it a part of your playing. So this is kind of the core of the patch. You've just got this rhythmic modulation of the filter going into the delay that creates this kind of so then on top of that, I have the second output of the filter going into this fixed filter bank, and this will basically cut up the sound into different bands of frequencies and isolate them, so I can control their volumes individually. So like, I'm going to bring in the filter bank, and then I'll turn up the highest band of frequencies. And actually, I'll turn down the main signal. So now we've got nothing. We're only hearing the sound from the filter bank, which right now is totally quiet. But then as I turn up the highest band of frequencies, and this is a very, very like dirty, distortion-focused filter bank. So it's not clean at all. I've got several different kinds of like feedback and clipping turned on with this. So this will just kind of not only cut up the sound into different frequency bands, but also bring a very strong sort of color and dynamics to them. I'm also, some of these, I'm controlling the frequency of that band with control voltage from other modules. I always like the way that just like direct gates and triggers sound when they're modulating things. So that's what I've been using a lot. You can hear like, this is just jumping between two discrete values. It's not like slowly going up and down. It's just very sharp jumping back and forth. I like the way that sounds a lot, so I use it a lot in my music. Let's see. Also I wanted to say the Moog Mavis here is not, it's not plugged into anything. As you can see, I don't have a patch going at all. There's no like output cable plugged in, but the fact that it's plugged into the same circuit as all this other modular stuff means that if I touch it, it will start generating some kind of crazy feedback. So that's kind of another interesting quirk of all these like electromagnetic distortions, interruptions that we have going on in the system. Okay, so let's see, we've got the bass sound, we've got filter bank sound. So, and this is very nice because you can kind of shape the atmosphere of your sound. So if you want a sound with more low end, you bring in the lower filters. If you want a sound with more high end, you bring in the higher end filters. These are kind of all over the place because I'm modulating the volume of the bands externally, but it's, you can change the maximum volume of the bands with these little sliders, so you still get control over it even when they've got voltage running through them. Let's see, so then after that, some of these bands I've got coming out over here to the wave folder and the stereo mixer, and so let's see, I'm gonna have to trace back some of these cables. So, right. So this is the lowest band from the filter bank. So you can hear that is right in our left ear. Pan it in the right ear. Control that pan externally, but I ended up not doing that. At least not in this particular patch. And then the other input is crossfade between those two bands. I can manipulate their placement in the stereo field. This is a very cool module that you can always expand. And then right next to that, I've got a wave folder, and this, I'm running two things into this. I'm running the beyond output of my filter, which is basically a bandpass filter, but with controllable width. And then the other input is the highest frequency band from the filter bank. So let's see, I'll turn stuff down, turn up. So this sound, the timbre of the sound depends heavily on the stereo width control on the filter. And right now I have this sequencer sequencing the stereo width. So the current stage of the sequencer is indicated by that red light that is hard to see because I've got some text in the way. So with that in mind, if I turn up these sliders, it very heavily affects the timbre of that specific step. And then also, of course, by manipulating the controls on the wave folder. Yeah, so if I I'll pause the sequencer here and just sweep it through. That's pretty incredible, honestly. That's at the fold up about halfway. If I turn it up all the way. Yeah, I like that a lot. So you've got fold, you've got shape, also got symmetry, which is good for kind of controlling, keeping the sound from getting too overwhelming. Yeah, so that's fun. Let's see. So that's kind of what I've been doing, like bringing that sort of rhythmic voice in from the wave folder to kind of kick things up and make them more exciting. Alright, let's see. Oh, so I've also got these two oscillators in here. You can't hear them at all right now because we're listening to sound out of the wave folder. So now we're listening to the oscillators. Whoa, excuse me. Okay, so basically the sequencer here on my left with the red knobs, or the red faders, I should say, that is sequencing the oscillators, but it's actually just switching between the different oscillator outputs. I won't go too much into it, but let me know in the chat if you want me to go more into it, because I would love to. So we basically got these two oscillators having their pitch controlled by external functions, and then we switch between listening to first oscillator on the left and then the one on the right, and then that sort of gives the illusion of an oscillator being sequenced. And I've also got them running into this analog OR module, and that's just kind of mushing them together and giving them a more distorted sound. So then, yeah, a little goes a long way with the stereo width control. So let's see what else we got. Mostly what I've been doing is just kind of bringing in everything very slowly. Oh, yes. Okay, yes. So, thank you for your question. I will answer it now. Basically what's going on is you've got the sine output from the STO going into the first input on the sequencer, and yes, it is a sequential switch. So the first input into the sequential switch is the sine from the STO. The second input on the sequential switch is the sine from the XPO. That's the mono sine. Then the fourth input here, the green cable, that is coming out of the distortion, and that one I'm actually sending the like wave shaping sine out, like the sine to triangle. I think Make Noise calls it like very timbre or something. I'm sending those outputs from the STO and the XPO together into this. This module is so wobbly, I may need to adjust the screws or something. Anyway, they're going into this module to be sort of added together and distorted. Then the output of that distortion is going into the sequential switch. So every time the red light is over the green cable, what you're hearing is the two very timbre shapes mushed together and distorted. So right now, I'm going to freeze it on that step, so that's all we're hearing. And then I can adjust the shape control on the STO and the XPO, and you can hear a very slight timbral change. It's a little more apparent with the XPO. Yeah, so then everything else is kind of just like infrastructure to make all that happen. So I'm using all my like maths and sport modulator function generators, kind of just to like get gates at the right time. So like it's hard to see, but those blinking yellow lights on maths, those are the end of rise and end of cycle gate outputs. So every time they flash, and if I turn up some of these so you may be able to get a sense of how those gates are affecting other things in the patch. So I've just got them set up so that they either like there's some other function that's making them cycle at the right time, or they're being triggered or gated as needed, and then I've set up, I've like calibrated the rise and fall times such that they get the ideal gate length. And then, so I don't know how long you've been watching, but the fact that the Moog Mavis is like plugged into the same circuit as all of this stuff, but not actually patched into it, means that it's, and I think this is the right word, I think you'd say it's creating a ground loop. And so I've got one hand or one thumb on the end of this patch cable. That's actually what's creating all the noise in this patch except for the oscillators. So that's making all that. And then if with my other hand I touch Moog Mavis, it creates some weird feedback that I don't know enough about electronics to like 100% accurately name, but I'm pretty sure you call that like a ground loop, ground hum, mains hum, or something like that. But yeah, that's honestly basically everything in the patch. It's just a patch cable with one end totally unpatched, the other end plugged into the filter with the gain turned up so you can actually hear the noise that it's making. Yeah, it does. It's great. It's got a lot of industrial character to it, and I quite like it. Yeah, but so one of the outputs from the filter is going into a delay. The other is going into the filter bank. Those are getting mixed together. The output of that mixer goes into another mixer. There I'm mixing together the oscillators, the wave folder, and then some of the bands from the filter bank are being like sort of placed in the stereo field because stereo sounds nice. I may actually add I don't want to add like too much stereo to the point that it's just kind of distracting and becomes meaningless. But I have a very stereo system here. So I don't want to totally underuse it. But yeah, so that's okay. Yeah, there are a lot of unpleasant sounds going on with this one. Maybe I need a stronger compressor on this. Oh well, that's, I can figure that out. I can figure that out next time, because I do want to stream again. I may just do it later today so that I get to show people who are at work right now about my patch. But yeah, I've been building this for a couple days, and it's a ton of fun. Yeah, it keeps clipping. Let me actually see if I can do something about that right now. This is going to be really exciting and thrilling to listen to because you can't even see what I'm changing. So, okay. That actually might be enough. Okay, I put. Let me make sure I'm doing this right with the signal chain. OBS filter chain. Okay, yes. So how do you know? So I want this compression to go before. Let's see. Filter order. Is it top first? I assume surely it's top first, right? Yeah. Okay, wait. Yes. Okay, yeah, sure. That's fine. Okay, so now I can go back to filters. Now I want this compressor first, and I need to increase it. That's too much. What's good, like... Let's see. I don't want... It's the first time I've ever used a compressor before. So... Let's see. I mean, I'll just leave it at, like, default settings, and we'll just fucking... Okay, that's good to know, though. So I need more. And also probably need to lower the threshold. I think. Haha, I don't know. Is this working? That's supposed to come first, and then it gets compressed. It's just so loud already. Seems like it's not. Huh. Okay, well, you know what? It is what it is. I think, like, there have been times where I hear, like, some kind of, like, people doing things with electronics in the vicinity of my house. I feel like this picks up on it, which is very funny to me. So that's the compression. That's funny. Okay, that's so you can hear I've got one hand on the cable and one hand on my mouse. That's making it go crazy. I think that's fine. I think I got it working. It's fine. Yeah, it's just very, you just gotta be careful with the bass, I guess. Careful with everything, really. I like it as it is, but I'm very honored that you would sing on it. Thank you. I actually did experiment with adding a kick, but it sounded kind of corny. It's kind of hard to get. I used so much stuff, it was hard to get a good kick sound out of it, so maybe that's part of it. Okay, but with all that, I think I've basically played and talked as much as I can. So thank you to everyone who watched. Even the people who are not here anymore. Right, well, right. Mavis, the thing is, Mavis is for that. That's what Mavis is for here. So, but yeah, no, that would be a good use for it. All right. Voila. Okay. Well, as I said, thank you everyone who came to watch. I hope you all enjoyed. I may do this again later. I may tinker around with it a little more. I may try working in the clock divider and or the woggle bug, because I did not use either of those in this patch. But I also may just I may just like do this again because I like performing with this patch. Yeah, so thanks for showing up. I hope you had a good time. I'll see you later. Bye.